Hi guys, a year ago I had a profound experience. I talked about it previously in a previous video if you've watched that, but it's actually the 13th of November 2018, and exactly a year ago to today. I've mentioned the date just in case it doesn't get uploaded today, but the 13th of November. A year ago today I had a profound experience that changed my outlook on life, brought me to Jesus Christ, brought me to some fellowship with some very special people who are very close to my heart. And I wanted to basically share my testimony with you guys so that you could hear what I experienced and take on board some of the things I talk about. As a child, I was indoctrinated into the Christian church, the Church of England, by my parents. I went as a young child, later went to choir, and as I've said in a previous video, once I got to about 14, 15, just decided to walk in a different direction and pretty much forgot about it for 40 years. That was until last year. That said, during them 40 years, lots of things happened. My father died when I was quite young, in my late 20s. My grandmother died when I was in my 20s. I was quite close to her. And throughout my life I had this idea of a new age religion. Is the only way I could describe it, as much as that I was agnostic and believed there was something, that we were surrounded by a greater force than any of us realised. And I think it's normalised now by new age religions, Reiki and Reiki healing, all these religions that believe you can send things out to the universe and they'll come back to you and you'll get what you ask for. I'll touch on that later. A year ago today I was feeling a bit down, and as I'd done many times over the previous 40 years or so, or certainly since my father and my grandmother had died, at a low point I'd pretty much look up as if praying to heaven, but not actually praying to heaven, but asking if my father was looking over me and my grandmother, they could show me the way to go and guide me. And this had stood me in good stead over the years. Really strange. It always seemed to work. I always got the answers. I always got the help I needed. And it was quite surprising that when I was at my lowest ebb and I was in a really fragile state, I'd ask for help and I'd receive it. Anyway, a year ago, exactly to today, I was in a similar situation, at a low ebb, and that morning my wife had gone to work. I'd left to go to work, and that morning I'd said the usual thing: Nana, if you can hear me, Dad, if you can hear me, I'm at my lowest point and I really need something to turn around and go my way. Anyway, during that morning, strange things started to happen. Things did go my way. It's work related. I work for myself, so a few phone calls came in, and it was quite profound. And I was thinking, there you go, when you get to a certain point and you're really at a lowest ebb, reach out and you'll get the help you need. And as I was thinking this, I heard a voice, a very clear voice, whether it was subliminally or in my head or around me, I can't really say. It was so strong and so powerful. And it was just a few words, and those words were, "Paul, you were wrong." And it really sort of shook me and set me back for a couple of minutes, and then it suddenly dawned on me what it meant. And it meant that all the times I'd asked for help in the past, God was listening and listening to what I was saying, and I got the help I needed. And it suddenly dawned on me that I was totally wrong in the way I'd been thinking, and that God never let me walk alone, and God was with me, and God had helped me when I asked for help. Now, quickly from realising that, an overwhelming sadness and guilt came over me. And as with most people when they have testimonies and they're powerful, I fell to my knees and I sobbed like a newborn baby. And it's not like me to be like that emotional, but I cried and cried and cried. And during the next 10 minutes while I was sobbing on my hands and knees, overcome with this realization that I had got things wrong for a long, long time, what swept over me was the guilt of everything that I'd done, however minuscule in the past, the transgressions I'd done, things that previously wouldn't have even entered my head. They wouldn't have caused me any bother, any anxiety. But for 10 minutes, I had this overwhelming feeling of guilt for the sins that I'd committed. This grieving process and repenting process was obviously something I had to go through, because within probably 20 minutes, half an hour, I was filled with an overwhelming state of euphoria. Very, very hard to describe, very euphoric. When I look round, I've said this in a previous video, as I look round at everything, the colours were brighter, the light was different, the sky was different. All the emotions that I felt, the emotions of love and kindness and everything, multiplied greatly. I couldn't wait for my wife to get home from work to see her, because I just felt this massive, massive amount of love emanating. We have a few dogs that we've rescued. I got back home after work and I was greeted by the dogs, and the emotion I felt wasn't like anything I had before. We look after our animals and we really love them, but it was different. Everything was different. Everything changed. At that moment, my life changed in the blink of an eye. It's hard to describe how much it changed, but it was drastic. Things I did before, the way I thought before, things I did with other people, the way I perceived of other people, just changed instantly. Now, at this point, I sort of turned my back on the Bible and Christianity at the age of about 14, 15. The passages I'd read previously as a child in Sunday school and everything, I'd remembered from the Bible, but I just wanted to soak everything up. I got an online version of the Bible, put it on my phone and started reading and soaking information up. And it was so profound. The pages, the letters from Paul, the certain parts of the Bible, especially the New Testament, were so profound, especially when you get a digital version and everything that Jesus said is highlighted in red. And at that moment, you actually read it and you can actually hear Jesus speaking to you. This has gone on for the last 12 months. It's been a very profound thing that's happened. It also happened to my wife a few months later. She wasn't in the same state of mind as me. I wouldn't say she was agnostic. I would just say she was a bit lost, and she put her faith on the back burner and she rekindled her faith, and it helped us greatly. During the last 6 months, we've been truly tested. I said in the previous video, my wife developed breast cancer. It's been a really tough 6 months. She's just had an operation, she's had chemo, and the treatment is ongoing, but hopefully the light is at the end of the tunnel. We've joined a small chapel here in Spain. Most of the churches are Catholic, and I was brought up Protestant. So we joined a little chapel that was built by a Church of England vicar who is technically retired, but he's carried on preaching. And like I've said in previous videos, it's not idolic in any way. We've joined for the fellowship, although I really didn't feel a need to join a church. I just wanted to be with like-minded people and share my experience. But what I want to convey is that what has happened to me over the last 12 months has changed me in lots of ways. Previously, where I was anxious about life and I'd think about different things, as we all do on a day-to-day basis, I just know now that everything will be okay. Through all our trials and tribulations, we've never asked why Leslie got cancer, why it happened. We know that things in this world happen because of man's interference in God's design, if you like. The chemicals and the foods we eat, the sprays we use, etc., etc., are just a man-made thing that we have to contend with. It's man ruining his own environment, ruining his own world. So we know that whatever happened to my wife has got nothing to do with God, our faith, or anything like that, but we know that God has helped and healed my wife and taken us on a journey, and without that faith we wouldn't have got through it. It's very hard to come to faith after so many years of not being in a faith and having such a profound effect on my life. We've started to share our faith with friends and talk about it in a non-pushy way, and friends have started to embrace what we're saying. what I wanted to basically touch on is that when God spoke to me, he wasn't the God of my childhood or the God of any religion. He was just God. Allah, God, whatever God you want to call him, there's only one God, the Creator. When I talked earlier about New Age religions, what really profoundly made me think is that God, our God, is outside time, space, and everything. God created everything from outside everything. Before everything existed, God was there, so God created everything. So these people that I thought similarly with the book, The Secret, and different things, that if you have a desire, a wish, and you send it out to the universe, this wish will come back to you and you receive tenfold. You can't send something out to something that's been created by something else, whether you want to think that it was a big bang, a big flash. Whatever way you think about it, whether it was our God that we know that created it, and if you don't believe there was a God, but you believe there was a big bang, everything was created from light, not from darkness. There may be darkness out in space, but that big bang was a huge flash when it went off, created by our God. If you don't believe that it was created by our God, you've got to believe that light created everything and we are born from light. A powerful message that you cannot really ask the universe that was created by something else to help you when it was a created thing itself. There's something bigger than the universe, something greater that created it. So there's no way that you can use the universe to define your decisions. Use Mother Earth, which again was created. Pray to the sun, Mother Earth. These pagan religions, they all pray to something that was created by something much greater than most of us will ever understand. But what I want to say to all of you is that when I found God and when I found Jesus, it changed my heart, changed my soul, changed me as a person. And I don't know why he found me. I'm a sinner just the same as everybody else. But I was found, I was saved, I was reborn. It has changed my life. And I just hope that you're saved in a similar way, so that maybe you're not chosen, but you're shown a little chink of light, something shines through, and you get something that makes you think, well, I am a child of God. I was created. We're all created. Every life on this planet was created. And every life on this planet owes its existence to the Creator, our God. And I hope that this video brings you some peace, that you can relate to some of it, and that it will take you on a journey to find Jesus, who gave his life and redeemed our sins. We're all sinners, but once you realise what he did for us on that cross, it's not about the Mormon way of thinking of you have to do deeds every day to get forgiven. God already forgave us. All you've got to do to receive that forgiveness is just accept what he did and just realise what he did and take Jesus into your heart. Anyway, I've probably waffled on for too long, but I hope this message has got across to some of you. If you want to ask any questions, please ask them. I'm quite happy to discuss what has happened to me. There's much more details than I've actually given out. I've been through ups and downs throughout my life, the same as anybody else. But I hope that you find Jesus and Jesus in your life, and I hope you watch this video and get something from it. So God bless from sunny Spain in November on the top of a mountain, and hope Jesus shines the light on your life and he's with you. Thanks for watching.